My child, stop and listen carefully, my beloved, because this is not just another message passing through your day. I am asking you for only 1 minute, but what I am about to awaken in you carries the weight of eternity, the sound of mercy, and the power to restore what pain has tried to bury. Stay with me to the very end. Do not look away when the truth begins to press on your heart. Do not let distraction steal what heaven is placing in your hands right now. If you remain, I will show you why this moment was appointed, why your tears were never wasted, and why you will never be the same after what I am about to say. My beloved child, I know how quickly your eyes move from one thing to the next, how your mind has learned to live in constant motion, and how your heart has become used to carrying things in silence while the world keeps demanding more from you. You may think you simply paused here out of curiosity, or because something about these words caught your attention for a second, but I need you to understand that I am not careless with moments like this. I know exactly where you are emotionally, even if no one around you does. I know what your face looks like when you are trying to appear fine. I know the version of you that other people see, and I know the version of you that sits alone with thoughts you do not always know how to explain. I know the tiredness in you that sleep is not fixed. I know the ache that sits underneath your responsibilities. I know the pressure you have been carrying while still trying to be kind, still trying to keep going, still trying to hold everything together. And this is why I am speaking to you now. Not because I want to interrupt your day for the sake of it, but because your soul has been asking for something your lips have not fully said. There is a part of you that has been longing for stillness, for comfort, for truth that does not shift with circumstances, and for love that does not feel conditional. I am meeting you in that exact place. I am not rushing toward the polished version of you. I am not asking for the version of you that knows how to say the right things, or the version that looks strong in front of others. I am speaking to the part of you that has been carrying questions. I am speaking to the part of you that has felt overlooked, emotionally worn down, and quietly uncertain about what comes next. I know there have been moments when you kept moving because stopping felt dangerous, because if you slowed down too much you might finally feel how heavy everything has become. You have learned how to survive by staying busy. You have learned how to distract yourself from what hurts. You have learned how to smile through conversations while your heart feels somewhere else entirely. But I did not create you just to survive your days. I did not form you just to endure life with clenched hands and a guarded heart. I formed you for closeness with me. I formed you to know what it feels like to be deeply seen and still deeply loved. So when I ask you for 1 minute, I am not asking because I need your time. I'm asking because you need this nearness more than you realize. You need a place where you do not have to perform. You need a voice that does not accuse you. You need a presence that can sit with your exhaustion without turning away from it. You need someone who understands not only what you have done, but what has been done to you, what you have carried, what you have feared, what you have lost, and what you have never fully told anyone. That is why I am here. I am not late. I am not distant. I am not waiting for you to become easier to love. I am already near, and I have been near through more moments than you know. Even the times you thought you were simply getting through another hard day, I was there. Even the moments when you felt emotionally numb, when prayer felt hard, when faith felt quieter than it used to, I was still with you. You may not have recognized me in the middle of all that noise, but I never stepped away. And now, in this moment, I am drawing your attention not to create fear, not to pressure you, and not to burden you with some heavy demand. I am drawing your attention because I want you to feel what it is like to stop long enough to be loved by me again in a way that reaches deeper than words. This moment is not small to me. You are not small to me. Your life has never been random in my sight. The thoughts you have not said out loud, the disappointments you have swallowed, the silent prayers you were not even sure reached me, the memories that still sting when they rise unexpectedly, the weariness that sits in your chest when another day begins and you wonder how much more you can carry without falling apart. I know all of it. And I am not speaking to you from far away. I am speaking from the nearness of a Father who has watched every step, who has stayed through every season, and who still wants your heart, not because I want to take from you, but because I want to give you what the world has not been able to give. Stay here with me. Let your thoughts slow down. Let your guard soften, even if only a little. Let yourself feel the possibility that this moment was not accidental. Because it was not. I brought my voice close to you because I know what you need before you know how to ask for it. And right now, more than anything else, you need to remember that you are not alone in the place you have been quietly suffering. I want you to understand something deeply, and I want you to let it settle into the part of your heart that has been struggling to trust what is true. When I call this a holy interruption, I do not mean something dramatic for the sake of emotion. I mean that I know how easily your life can become filled with noise that sounds urgent but leaves your spirit empty. I know how often you are surrounded by information, demands, conversations, expectations, and endless things asking for your attention, while the deeper needs inside you go untouched. You can spend hours responding to what is immediate and still go to sleep feeling like something essential in you was ignored again. You can meet deadlines, help people, fulfill responsibilities, and still feel disconnected from yourself and from me in ways that are difficult to explain. That is why I step into moments like this. I am not competing for your attention the way the world does. I am not trying to entertain you. I am not trying to stir you up and then leave you empty. I am reaching for you because I love you enough to interrupt the pattern that has been draining you. I know there are times when you have felt like life keeps moving and you are simply trying to keep pace, and because of that, your inner life has become a place you visit less and less. You have become skilled at functioning. You have become skilled at managing what other people can see. But the places inside you that need gentleness, healing, reassurance, and truth have not stopped needing those things just because you became good at hiding your pain. I see how you have adapted. I see how you have learned to push through disappointment. I see how you carry old wounds into new days and still try to show up with strength. I see how certain memories still affect the way you trust, the way you rest, the way you expect the future to unfold. I see how some of your exhaustion is not physical at all. It comes from holding emotions that never had a safe place to land. It comes from trying to make sense of things that hurt you. It comes from trying to be okay when part of you is still grieving, still processing, still longing, still unsure. And I need you to know that when I ask you to stop for a minute, I am inviting you into something sacred because I want to meet you exactly there. I want to be the place where your soul is allowed to exhale. I want to be the one who reminds you that you do not have to keep carrying everything as if I am not real, as if I am not near, as if I do not care. I do care. I care more deeply than you have allowed yourself to believe in some of your harder moments. There were times you wondered whether I had gone quiet because you could not feel me the way you once did. There were moments you assumed this silence meant distance. There were seasons where disappointment made you question whether I was really moving in your life at all. But silence was never absence. Delay was never rejection. The heaviness you felt was not proof that I abandoned you. In more moments than you know, I was protecting you from what you could not yet see, holding you together when you thought you were holding yourself together, and preserving parts of your heart that would have shattered if I had not been there. I know you do not always recognize my hand when life feels confusing. I know you sometimes interpret pain as abandonment and uncertainty as punishment. But that is not how I love you. I do not come near only when you are spiritually strong. I do not speak only when you are doing everything right. I do not wait until you become emotionally uncomplicated before I draw close. I come near because you are mine. I speak because I know what your heart sounds like when it is quietly asking for help. And I am speaking now because I want this to become more than a passing emotional moment for you. I want it to become a point of return. I want this minute to become the place where you remember that you can stop running, stop numbing, stop pretending, and let me be present with the real condition of your heart. You do not need to impress me. You do not need to explain everything perfectly. You do not need to clean up your thoughts before you let me in. You only need to stay. Just stay here with me long enough to let the truth begin to settle. I know you. I have seen you. I have not lost sight of you, and I did not bring you to this moment to condemn you. I brought you here because your heart matters to me, your weariness matters to me, your hidden pain matters to me, and this very minute can become the beginning of something far deeper than you expected if you allow yourself to receive it. My beloved child, come closer now and do not rush past this part, because if you truly understand what I am about to tell you, something inside you will begin to soften in a way it has not softened for a long time. When you think about the cross, I know there are moments when it feels like a sacred story you have heard before, something holy but somehow far away, something meaningful but tucked safely into the past, as if it belongs to history more than it belongs to the ache in your chest today. But I need you to hear me carefully. The cross was never distant to me, and it was never generic. It was not a symbol I carried with detached obedience. It was not a cold assignment I fulfilled without feeling every ounce of what it meant. It was personal. It was painfully, powerfully personal. I did not walk toward that hill thinking in vague terms about humanity as a concept. I walked toward it with you in my heart. I saw your face before you ever learned how to pray. I knew your name before anyone on earth spoke it aloud. I knew the version of you that would one day sit in silence, wondering if you had become too damaged, too delayed, too spiritually drained to be reached. I knew the nights you would lie awake with questions you could not answer. I knew the days when shame would try to wrap around your thoughts like chains. I knew the memories you would replay, the words spoken over you that cut too deep, the relationships that would fracture, the disappointments that would hollow out places in your spirit, and the hidden fear that you might spend your life trying to appear whole while quietly feeling broken. I saw all of it, and I still chose the nails. I still chose the wounds. I still chose the road that led through rejection, humiliation, pain, and death because I could already see that one day you would need a love stronger than your worst moment. I could already see that one day you would need proof, not just poetry, that you matter to me beyond anything you could ever earn. So listen to me now. Do not reduce the cross to a distant church memory. Do not let it become familiar in a way that makes it smaller than it is. It was not a ritual. It was rescue. It was not performance. It was pursuit. It was not a dramatic ending. It was the doorway I opened with my own body so you would never have to wonder whether I wanted you near. When the weight of the wood pressed against me, I was not carrying abstract theology. I was carrying the cost of bringing you home. When blood ran from my hands, it was not spilled to create a symbol that people would admire from a distance. It was poured out so your guilt would never have the right to become your identity. When I was mocked, stripped, wounded, and lifted up in public shame, I was stepping into the deepest human pain so that no place in your suffering would ever be unfamiliar to me. That is why I can speak to you now with tenderness and authority. I know what it means to be rejected. I know what it means to be misunderstood. I know what it means to love and still be wounded. I know what it means to endure agony while staying surrendered. So when you come to me with your pain, you are not coming to someone who only observes suffering from a throne. You are coming to the one who entered it willingly so you would never face yours alone. This is why I want you to stop and let this truth settle. The cross is not far from your life today. It reaches into your present. It reaches into the thoughts you are having right now. It reaches into the places where you still feel regret. It reaches into the habits you are ashamed of, the patterns you want to break, the wounds you still carry, the questions you still hold, and the parts of your heart that still flinch when love gets too close. My sacrifice was never meant to sit behind glass while you admire it from afar. It was meant to reach into the very places where you feel weakest and remind you that I already went there first. So do not stand at a distance from my love. Step closer. Look again. Let yourself see the cross not as an old story, but as the place where I proved, once and for all, that I would rather be wounded than let you remain lost. If you have doubted whether you are worth that kind of love, let the scars answer you. If you have wondered whether your failures changed how I see you, let the cross answer you. If you have been tempted to believe that I only stay near when you are spiritually strong, let my suffering answer you. I did not die for the easy version of you. I died because I knew there would be hard days, hard years, and hard battles, and I wanted your soul to have something stronger than fear to hold on to. So stay with me here. Do not look away. Let this truth come all the way in. The cross was never distant to me, and because it was not distant to me, you never have to be distant from me either. And I want you to understand something even deeper, because there is a reason I am bringing you back to this moment and asking you not to skim over it like something you already know. Familiarity can be dangerous when it makes holy things feel smaller than they are. You may know that I died for you, but knowing the sentence is not the same as letting it heal the places in you that still live like you are unloved. You may believe the doctrine, yet still carry yourself as if your worth is fragile, as if one more failure might finally disqualify you from my affection, as if your spiritual dryness means I am disappointed in you, or as if your slow progress has somehow made me less willing to stay. That is why I am speaking plainly now. Let the cross interrupt the lies you have been tolerating. Let it cut through the confusion. Let it stand like a bright line between what shame says about you and what I have already done for you. Shame tells you that you must hide. My wounds say come near. Fear tells you that you have to fix yourself before you return. My blood says the way is already open. Regret tells you that your past has more authority than my mercy. My resurrection says otherwise. This is why I want you to picture it, not as a distant painting but as something living in front of you right now. See my hands marked, not because love failed but because love finished what it came to do. See the wood stained with sacrifice, not as a monument to pain, but as a bridge that reaches across the canyon you thought was too wide. Imagine yourself standing there, carrying everything you have been dragging behind you, every private disappointment, every compromise, every broken promise, every secret ache, every exhausted prayer, every moment you wondered if you were becoming someone you did not want to be. Bring it all. Bring the mess. Bring the fear. Bring the numbness. Bring the parts of you that feel late, lost, or ashamed. Do not tidy it up first. Do not explain it with polished language. Do not stand at the edge pretending you are less burdened than you are. Come honestly. That is what I want from you. Come and look at what I chose so that your life would not be ruled by what has wounded you. This is not where I ask you to prove yourself. This is where I ask you to receive. Let go of the idea that you must earn what was already purchased at such a cost. Stop trying to crawl toward grace as if it is reluctant. It is not reluctant. It was released with force, with fire, with full intention. It came for you. It came through torn flesh and holy surrender, because I was determined that when your darkest moments came, and I knew they would, you would have a place to bring them that was stronger than your despair. This is where I want you to hear my invitation clearly. Stop for a moment. Put your inner defenses down. Open your hands in your spirit. Even if you are sitting in silence, whisper if you need to, "Jesus, I am here." Say it with the weight you have. Say it with the uncertainty you have. Say it with the little faith you have. Just say it. And breathe. Stay there. Let the cross become personal again. Let it become your answer when the enemy tells you that you are too far gone. Let it become your anchor when emotions shift. Let it become your mirror when self-hatred rises. Let it become the place you return to when your heart grows tired and the world feels loud. Because what I did there was not temporary comfort. It was eternal access. I tore open the distance so you could stop living as if I am hard to reach. I carried what would have crushed you. I entered what would have destroyed you. I paid what you could never pay so that now, even in your weakness, you can come boldly, honestly, and immediately. That is why I say again, come closer. Let the old story become your present shelter. Let the scarred hands become your confidence. Let the cross stop being something you merely respect and become the place where you rest. And if your heart is trembling even a little as you hear this, do not resist it. That tenderness is not weakness. That stirring is not random. It is your spirit recognizing truth. It is your soul remembering home. Stay here. Receive this. The cross was never distant to me, and today I am asking you to stop keeping your heart distant from the very love that bled to bring you near. My beloved child, I want you to be honest with me now, because I already know the answer, and I am not asking to expose you. I am asking because I want you to feel seen in a place where you have become very practiced at hiding. You have been giving everyone else your strength. You have been handing out pieces of yourself all day, every day, in ways that people around you may never fully understand. You show up. You answer. You respond. You carry. You absorb. You keep things moving. You help when others are overwhelmed. You stay steady when someone else is falling apart. You say yes when your own heart is whispering that it is tired. You keep conversations going when your spirit would rather be quiet. You take responsibility for things that are not always yours because somewhere inside you, you learned that being dependable made you feel needed, and being needed sometimes felt safer than being known. I have watched you do this in 100 quiet ways. I have seen the emotional labor no one thanked you for. I have seen the mental load that follows you into the night. I have seen the invisible weight of being the one others lean on while you secretly wonder where you are supposed to lean when your own strength starts to crack. There have been moments when you smiled, gave comfort, gave advice, solved problems, handled pressure, and made yourself available, all while your own inner world was running on fumes. And because you have been doing it for so long, it has started to feel normal to you. You call it responsibility. You call it maturity. You call it love. Sometimes it is those things. But sometimes, my child, it is also exhaustion wearing the clothes of loyalty. Sometimes it is your fear of disappointing people. Sometimes it is your discomfort with being the one who needs care. Sometimes it is the quiet belief that your worth rises when you are useful. And I need you to hear me clearly. Your worth has never been built on how much of yourself you can spend before you collapse. I did not create you to become a well everyone draws from while no one notices it is running dry. I did not form your heart to be a room where everyone else finds comfort while your own pain stays locked in the dark. You have learned how to function with very little left in your spirit, and because you can still get through the day, people assume you are fine. But I know the difference between functioning and flourishing. I know the difference between endurance and peace. I know the difference between being available and actually being alive inside. I know there are moments when your body is present, but your heart feels distant even from yourself. I know there are times when you long for someone to ask how you are really doing, not in passing, not politely, but deeply enough that you could finally exhale and tell the truth. And because that has not happened the way you needed, you have become skilled at carrying your own weariness in silence. But I am not asking you to do that with me. Stop here. Let this land. You do not have to earn rest from me. You do not have to justify your exhaustion to me. You do not need a dramatic collapse before I give you permission to admit you are tired. I already know. I saw the moment you began feeling more like a machine than a soul. I saw the times you were physically present with people while emotionally slipping under the surface. I saw the nights you were too drained to pray in full sentences. I saw the times you sat in silence because you did not even know how to explain what was wrong, only that something in you felt overused and undernourished. And this is why I am speaking to you with tenderness and firmness now. Stop pouring from an empty place and pretending it is love when it is slowly hurting you. Come to me. Sit down in your spirit. Cut the weight down for a moment. Release the pressure to be everything for everyone. Release the habit of ignoring your own heart until it starts crying louder. Release the need to appear strong all the time. You do not need to prove your devotion through depletion. You do not need to become emotionally threadbare to be faithful. Let me be the place where you return. Let me be the one who restores what you have been spending. Let me remind you that being needed by people is not the same as being nourished by my presence. If you keep giving and never receiving, even your kindness can become brittle. Even your compassion can become strain. Even your love can start carrying resentment underneath it. That is not because you are selfish. It is because you are human, and humans were never designed to be their own source. I am your source. Come back to the well. Come back to the quiet. Come back to the place where you are not the rescuer, not the fixer, not the one holding everything together. Come back and simply be my child for a moment. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. That is where healing begins. And because I love you, I want to go even deeper into this with you, because the habit of overgiving is not always about generosity alone. Sometimes it is connected to wounds you have carried for years. Sometimes you learned to become useful because being useful protected you from rejection. Sometimes you became the strong one because being vulnerable did not feel safe in the environments that shaped you. Sometimes you became the helper because you discovered early that your own needs were inconvenient to others, so you trained yourself to minimize them. Sometimes you kept showing up for everyone because deep down you feared that if you stopped, you might discover how lonely you actually feel. I know those layers, and I am not bringing them up to shame you. I am bringing them into the light because I want to heal what has been hiding underneath your habits. You may think your problem is only fatigue, but sometimes fatigue is the smoke, and the deeper fire is the belief that you must constantly prove your value. That is why I am asking you to do something brave right now. Stop long enough to notice what you feel when you are not useful. Notice what rises in you when you are not fixing, not solving, not responding, not caring, not holding others up. Does guilt show up? Does anxiety start talking? Does a strange emptiness creep in? Does your mind start telling you that you are wasting time? Those voices matter because they reveal where your soul hath been living under pressure instead of under grace. And I want to free you from that. I want to teach you how to receive without apologizing for it. I want to teach you how to rest without feeling lazy. I want to teach you how to say no when your spirit needs space. I want to teach you how to love without bleeding yourself dry every time. This is not a call to become cold. It is a call to become whole. There is a difference. A river that never receives fresh water becomes stagnant. A lamp that is never refilled burns low. A house that welcomes everyone but never repairs its own foundation eventually begins to crack. You know this. You have felt those cracks. You have felt the quiet resentment after giving too much. You have felt the numbness that follows emotional overextension. You have felt the strange sadness of being surrounded by people who receive from you while still not truly seeing you. That pain is real. Bring it to me. Do not hide it under spirituality. Do not cover it with polite words. Tell me the truth. Say, Lord, I am tired of carrying what I cannot keep carrying. Say, Jesus, I do not want to lose myself while trying to be there for everyone else. Say, teach me how to love from fullness, not from depletion. Those are holy prayers. Those are brave prayers. And I will meet you in them. So I invite you now. No, I urge you now. Come closer and let me reset what has been out of order. Sit with me before you return to everyone else. Breathe before you answer the next demand. Let your soul drink before you pour again. Put your hand over your heart if you need to and admit what you have been avoiding. You are tired, and you need me. That is not failure. That is truth. And truth is where freedom begins. I am not asking you to abandon the people you love. I am asking you to stop abandoning yourself while you love them. I am asking you to stop treating your own soul like the last priority in the room. I am asking you to remember what I told you from the beginning. Abide in me. Stay in me. Life from me. Because when you do, your love becomes cleaner, your service becomes healthier, your peace becomes steadier, and your heart stops living like a clenched fist. So come now. Step out of the role you have been trapped in. For this moment, you do not need to be strong for anyone else. You do not need to have the answer. You do not need to hold the whole room together. Just be with me. Just let me hold you. Just let me restore what you have been spending. You have given everyone else your strength. Now give me your weariness, and let me give you back your soul. My beloved child, I want you to stop here and listen to me with the kind of attention you usually reserve for the things that scare you, because what I am about to say is meant to confront a lie that has been sitting quietly in the background of your life for longer than you realize. You are not too vegan for me. I know that sentence may sound simple when you first hear it, but I also know how complicated it feels when it has to pass through the memories you carry, the regrets you revisit, the compromises you made, the habits you still wrestle with, and the parts of your story that you keep tucked away because even now they still embarrass you. There are places in your heart where you have already built conclusions about yourself. You may not say them out loud, but they are there. You tell yourself you should be farther along by now. You tell yourself you should have learned the lesson already. You tell yourself you had enough chances and somehow still found a way to drift, to delay, to disobey, or to become spiritually dull in ways that now leave you feeling ashamed. You look at how many times you promised you would change and then felt yourself slide back into old patterns, old fears, old wounds, old ways of coping, old compromises, and you wonder if maybe the distance between where you are and where you should be has grown too wide. I know how that thought settles in you. It can sound almost calm, almost reasonable, almost mature, as if you are just being honest about your failures. But that is not humility, my child. That is hopelessness dressed in quiet language. That is shame trying to sound wise. That is the enemy taking your disappointment and turning it into a false conclusion about my heart toward you. So come closer and hear me clearly. There is no pit so deep that my hand cannot reach through it. There is no pattern so tangled that my grace cannot begin to untie it. There is no failure so final that I cannot breathe life into what looks dead. If I walked out of a grave, do not insult my power by assuming I cannot walk into the mess you are in now. Let that settle. Let it interrupt your assumptions. If I can speak to storms and silence them, if I can call Lazarus out of a tomb, if I can restore Peter after denial, if I can look at a thief dying beside me and still open paradise to him, then do not tell yourself I am somehow intimidated by your confusion, your delay, your inconsistency, or your shame. I am not. I know exactly what you have done, and I know exactly what has been done to you. I know the wounds that influenced your choices. I know the loneliness that made certain temptations feel louder. I know the fatigue that weakened your resolve. I know the fear that kept you from surrendering fully. I know the secret thoughts you hate having. I know the moments you felt numb and let that numbness guide you. I know the bitterness you justified, the compromises you minimized, the times you silenced conviction because you were too tired to fight it. I know all of it, and I am still here speaking to you. That alone should tell you something. If I wanted distance, I would not be drawing near. If I wanted to shame you, I would not be inviting you. If I had given up on you, I would not still be pressing truth into your spirit with this much tenderness. I am not standing over you with folded arms, waiting for you to climb your way back by sheer effort. I am standing beside you with scarred hands, asking you to stop running from the very mercy that was made for this exact moment. So stop arguing with my grace. Stop acting as if your sin has a longer reach than my blood. Stop treating your mistakes like a throne and my mercy like a suggestion. Come out of hiding. Come into the light. Tell me the truth. Name what you have been afraid to name. Lay down the image you have been trying to maintain. Let the tears come if they need to. Let the confession be messy if it must. But do not keep living like a fugitive from the love that died to bring you home. You are not too far gone. You are not beyond rescue. You are not the exception to redemption. You are not the one case where I finally say, this is too much. No, my child. Bring me the mountain of guilt, because my mercy is higher. Bring me the locked room in your heart, because my love still knows how to enter. Bring me the dry bones of what you think can never live again, because I still speak resurrection. This is not the moment to retreat. This is the moment to return. To come. Right now. Come honestly. Come trembling if you must. Come with weak faith if that is all you have. But come. I am not asking you to impress me. I am asking you to trust me enough to stop believing the lie that you are unreachable. And because I know how deeply this lie has wrapped itself around your thoughts, I want to speak to the part of you that has started living at a distance from me while still trying to look spiritually functional. That is a painful place, and I know it well. It is the place where you still know the language of faith, but your heart feels like it has been sitting in a dim room with the curtains closed. It is the place where you still listen, still nod, still try, still carry some belief. But underneath all of that there is a quiet ache because you feel disconnected, and part of you has begun to assume that maybe this distance is what you deserve. Maybe you still pray sometimes, but it feels hesitant. Maybe you worship, but your heart feels heavy. Maybe you open your Bible, but shame keeps whispering over the words. Maybe you want closeness with me, but every time you begin to move in my direction, memories of your own inconsistency start talking. That is the place I want to reach right now. Listen to me. You do not heal by standing outside the door of my presence, rehearsing all the reasons you feel unworthy to enter. You heal by coming in. You do not become clean by staying away. You become clean by surrendering what is dirty. You do not become whole by punishing yourself with distance. You become whole by receiving what my wounds already paid for. This is why I want you to do something simple, direct, and brave. Stop. Breathe. Open your hands, even if only in your imagination. Then say to me, Jesus, I am done hiding. Say it. Let the words feel awkward if they do. Let them feel overdue if they do. Say them anyway. Then tell me what you have been carrying. Tell me where you have been numb. Tell me where you have been angry. Tell me where you drifted. Tell me what you keep returning to even though you hate it. Tell me where you have felt fake. Tell me where you have felt spiritually exhausted. Tell me where you feel ashamed of how little fight you have had left. Do not edit it. Do not sanitize it. I already know. Confession is not informing me. Confession is freeing you. It is opening the window in a room that has been stale for too long. It is letting light in where secrecy made mold. It is letting fresh air into places where you have been suffocating slowly. And once you do that, I want you to receive something that may feel harder than confession itself: forgiveness. Receive it. Do not nod at it and move on. Do not say you believe in grace and then keep acting like your failure is the loudest voice in the room. Let my forgiveness actually land. Let it enter your self-talk. Let it interrupt the cycle where you sin, feel terrible, promise change, fail again, and then decide that self-hatred is somehow a sign of sincerity. It is not. Repentance is not self-hatred. Repentance is turning. It is movement. It is saying, I do not want to stay here anymore. And when you turn, I meet you. I run toward you. I cover you before you can finish your apology. I put a robe over your shame before you can earn it. I call you mine before you have proven anything. That is who I am. That is how I love. So I am commanding you now in love. Stop partnering with despair. Stop replaying your past as if it is prophecy. Stop treating your weakness like destiny. Stop bowing to the voice that says, this is just who you are. It is not. Your struggle may be real, but it is not your ruler. Your failure may be painful, but it is not your name. Your past may be part of your story, but it does not own the ending. Stand up in your spirit. Wipe your face. Come back to me without pretending. Return now, not tomorrow. Return now, not when you feel more spiritual. Return now, not after one more cycle of trying to fix yourself first. The window is open. My heart is open. My mercy is not running low. If anything, it is rushing toward you like a river breaking through a dam. Step into it. Let it wash what shame has covered. Let it reach the places you thought were sealed off. Let it grow, once and for all, that you are not too far gone for me. You never were. You never will be. Oh, come home. Come fully. Come now. My beloved child, I want you to sit with me here for a while, because this part touches places in you that have been aching quietly for longer than most people know. I remember every quiet prayer, not just the ones you prayed with faith that felt strong and clear, but the ones that barely made it past your lips. Not just the words you spoke in church or in the moments when you felt spiritually focused, but the fragile whispers you offered in the dark when you were too tired to sound holy. I remember the prayer you prayed when you stared at the ceiling and asked me, almost under your breath, if I still saw you. I remember the one you prayed while washing your face after crying, when all you could manage was, Lord, please. I remember the one you prayed while driving in silence, holding back tears because you still had somewhere to be and someone to be strong for. I remember the one you never finished because emotion got stuck in your throat. I remember the ones you prayed in anger, the ones you prayed in confusion, the ones you prayed in disappointment, and even the ones you were ashamed to pray because you thought by now you should have been asking for something else. I remember the nights you did not have elegant words, only heaviness. I remember the mornings you woke up already overwhelmed and said my name like someone reaching for a hand in the dark. I remember the desperate bargains, the exhausted sighs, the single-sentence cries for help, the moments when all you had was silence and you hoped I would understand it. I did. I always do. You need to know this because one of the deepest pains you have carried is the feeling that you have asked, waited, hoped, and still not seen the answer the way you imagine. That kind of waiting can do strange things to a heart. It can make you wonder if your prayers are getting lost somewhere between earth and heaven. It can make you question whether your words are too small, too weak, too repetitive, too late, or too mixed with doubt to matter. It can make you feel like the heavens are brass and your voice is bouncing back unheard. But listen to me carefully. Not one prayer of yours has ever been discarded. Not one. I do not collect only polished prayers. I treasure honest ones. I do not measure your sincerity by volume. I hear the trembling. I hear the pause. I hear the ache behind the words. Your quiet prayers have never been weak to me. They have often been the truest ones. Some of the holiest moments in your life were not when you felt powerful, but when you were hanging by a thread and still turned your face toward me. That mattered more than you know. When you whispered my name through fatigue, heaven leaned in. When you reached for me with shaky faith, I did not stand back and grade the quality of your belief. I drew closer. When you cried and could not form a full sentence, I understood the language of your tears. I know the grammar of grief. I know the sound of disappointment. I know the silence of someone who has asked for the same thing so many times that words start to feel fragile. And I have been present in all of it. So do not dishonor your own journey by calling those prayers small. They were not small. They were seeds. They were sacred. They were moments when your heart, even in weakness, still turned toward me. Some were planted in sorrow. Some were planted in fear. Some were planted in confusion. But they were planted. And I am the Lord of seed time and harvest. Just because you did not see the root system forming does not mean nothing was happening. A seed buried in dark soil is not abandoned. It is beginning. That is what many of your prayers have been. Varied beginnings. Hidden roots. A quiet faith. What looked like silence to you was often sacred underground work. I was not ignoring you. I was growing something beneath what your eyes could measure. So stop dismissing the prayers that felt unimpressive. Stop treating your whispered cries as if they were less valuable than louder moments. Stop assuming that because you did not see instant change, your words fell empty. They did not. I caught them. I kept them. I carried them. I have held your prayers closer than you realize, like precious jewels gathered one by one, each one marked by the weight of what it cost you to keep believing. So come now and let this truth comfort you. You have never prayed into emptiness. You have never wept into a void. You have never whispered my name without my heart turning toward you. I remember every quiet prayer. And now I want to speak to the ache behind the truth, because I know what often follows it in your heart. If I remember every quiet prayer, then why did I wait? Why did some answers come slowly, and why do some still seem delayed? Why did certain doors stay closed? Why did some pain linger? Why did some people leave anyway? Why did some nights still feel endless even after you asked me for relief? Those are real questions, and I am not offended by them. Bring them to me. Ask them. Do not dress them up. Do not fear that honesty will push me away. I would rather have your real questions than your fake composure. So listen while I answer you gently. Waiting has never meant forgetting. Delay has never meant distance. There were prayers I answered by protecting you from what you thought you needed. There were prayers I answered by strengthening you in ways you did not yet know to ask for. There were prayers I answered by closing doors that would have crushed you later. There were prayers I answered by sending comfort before I sent change. There were prayers I answered by keeping you alive through seasons that should have broken you. And there are prayers still unfolding in ways your current perspective cannot yet see. That is why I need you to trust me with more than timing. I need you to trust my heart. Because if you only trust me when the answer matches your expectation, then every delay will feel like betrayal. But if you trust my heart, even mystery can become a place of surrender. I want you to picture something now. Imagine your prayers not as words disappearing upward, but as candles in a dark sanctuary, one by one, still burning before me. Some flicker softly. Some blaze with urgency. Some are old and have burned longer than you thought possible. But they are there. They are not gone. They are not forgotten. And in my hands, even the prayers you thought had died can become doors. So do this with me right now. Bring one prayer back to mind. Just one. The one you nearly gave up on. The one you stopped mentioning because it hurt too much to hope. The one that became too tender to touch. Bring it to me again. Not with pressure. Not with frantic striving. Just bring it. Hold it out in your spirit and say, Lord, this still hurts, but I am placing it in your hands again. That is not weakness. That is worship. That is trust with scars on it. That is mature faith. And while you are there, I want you to do one more thing. Thank me for what I have already done that you almost overlooked. Thank me for the breakdown I carried you through. Thank me for the day you thought you would collapse and somehow stood up again. Thank me for the comfort that came in unexpected ways. Thank me for the people I removed even though it hurt. Thank me for the prayers I answered sideways because straight on would have harmed you. This is not to deny your pain. It is to widen your vision. Your story is not a list of unanswered prayers. It is a landscape full of hidden mercies. Some of the greatest answers in your life came disguised as detours, delays, and quiet endurance. And I am still working. I have not closed the book. I have not moved on from what matters to you. I have not stopped weaving. So I invite you now, no, I urge you now, pray again. Whisper again. Ask again. Not because I forgot, but because I want your heart to stay open while I work. Do not let disappointment turn your prayer life into a locked room. Open the door. Let me back into the places where silence hurt you. Let me teach you that intimacy with me is not built only through visible miracles, but also through long nights where you kept talking to me anyway. That is how roots grow deep. That is how trust becomes strong enough to survive storms. So lift your eyes. Speak to me again. Let your prayer be small if it needs to be. Let it be simple. Let it be tearful. Let it be unfinished. But let it be real. I remember every quiet prayer, and I am still the God who answers in ways deeper than you can always see in the moment. Stay with me. Keep talking. Keep trusting. Keep bringing me the hidden things. I am listening even now. My child, as I have remembered every quiet prayer you whispered in the dark, I am also calling you into a moment of visible faith. What you release now becomes seed in my hands, and I am the Lord of the harvest who multiplies what is sown in trust. When you give, you are not losing. You are sending light into places where other weary hearts are still wondering if I hear them too. This message that found you is not meant to stop with you. It is meant to flow like oil, reaching those still aching in silence. I am stirring your heart even now. This is not pressure. This is invitation. As it is written, I give seed to the sower, and I increase the fruit of your righteousness. If you feel the pull to support through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is in the description. Know this: your obedience becomes someone else's answered prayer. So do not hesitate. Sow now, and watch how I breathe on what you release. My beloved child, I want you to hear me closely now, because this part touches a habit that has quietly shaped more of your life than you realize. Stop treating my love like a last resort. I say that to you with tenderness, not accusation, because I know why you do it. I know how life has trained you to exhaust every human option first. You think, you plan, you calculate, you carry, you troubleshoot, you brace, you push, you try to manage what is spiraling, and only when your strength starts to fray do you finally turn fully toward me. You often come to me after the phone calls, after the overthinking, after the internal arguments, after the emotional crash, after the midnight panic, after the door closes, after the person disappoints you, after the bill arrives, after the diagnosis frightens you, after the relationship strains you, after your mind has already run 10 miles in fear. And yes, I still receive you there. I always will. I am not offended when you come late. I am grateful that you come at all. But I want more for you than emergency closeness. I want more for you than a relationship built only on spiritual triage. I do not want to be the one you remember only when the floor gives way. I want to be the ground you stand on before it does. I want to be the first voice you seek, not the final option after every other voice has left you drained. I know why you hesitate. Part of you has learned to rely on control because control feels safer than surrender. Part of you believes that if you can just think hard enough, work hard enough, prepare enough, or anticipate enough, you can reduce pain, avoid disappointment, and keep yourself from falling apart. But control is a cruel counterfeit. It promises stability while quietly feeding your anxiety. It gives you the illusion of strength while slowly stealing your peace. It keeps your hands busy and your mind crowded, but it cannot heal your soul. You know this. You have lived this. You have felt the moment when you realize that after all the thinking, all the fixing, all the effort, you are still tired, still afraid, still unsure, still in need of the one thing you postponed: me. So listen to me now and let this become a turning point. I am not a backup plan. I am not your spiritual ambulance after the collision. I am not the quiet room you enter only when the noise has already done damage. I am your source. I am your covering. I am your wisdom before the decision, your peace before the crisis, your steadiness before the bad news, your comfort before the heartbreak fully lands. Come to me sooner. Come to me first. Bring me the situation while it is still small in your hands instead of waiting until it becomes a mountain in your mind. Bring me the thought when it first turns dark, not after it has built a fortress in your imagination. Bring me the conversation before it hardens into resentment. Bring me the fear before it starts writing stories about your future. Bring me the temptation before it becomes agreement. Bring me the wound before you numb it. Bring me the question before you let panic answer it. This is not because I need better timing from you. This is because you need deeper peace from me. I want you to stop living as if intimacy with me is a final measure taken when nothing else worked. It is not a last resort. It is your first refuge. It is the shelter your soul was designed for. It is the difference between walking through a storm with an anchor and being dragged by every wave. And I know, my child, that part of you worries that if you come to me first, I may not answer fast enough, or I may lead you somewhere you did not plan, or I may ask you to release control before you feel ready. That is true. Sometimes I will. But hear me well. What I ask you to release, I never release you from my care. What I take from your clenched hands, I replace with something truer. What I interrupt in your plans, I do not interrupt to harm you. I interrupt to save you from roads that glitter but do not heal. I close some doors because behind them is not peace, only pressure. I delay some outcomes because what you are asking for too early would crush the very heart I am trying to strengthen. So come first. Come early. Come before the collapse. Come before the spiral. Come while your voice is still steady and your heart is still open. Sit with me before the crisis teaches you what intimacy could have taught you more gently. Make a holy habit of turning toward me before the damage is done. I am inviting you now, but I am also commanding you in love. Stop postponing the very presence that keeps you whole. Stop living like my love is what you reach for only when everything else has failed. My love is what you were meant to live from. And I want to go even deeper, because there is another layer here that you need to recognize if you are going to truly change the pattern. Sometimes you do not treat my love like a last resort because you doubt that I care. Sometimes you do it because you are afraid of what happens when you really slow down enough to feel how much you need me. The need can make you uncomfortable. Dependence can make you uneasy. Somewhere along the way, perhaps through disappointment, perhaps through abandonment, perhaps through seasons where you had to grow up too fast, you learn to admire self-sufficiency and mistrust surrender. You may still love me, still believe in me, still call on me, but if you are honest, there are places where you keep one hand on the wheel because full trust feels vulnerable. And that vulnerability can feel terrifying when you have known what it is like to be let down by people, by timing, by circumstances, even by your own expectations. So you hedge. You half surrender. You keep my name close, but not always my leadership. You ask for peace while secretly insisting on control. You ask for guidance while already preferring your own route. You ask for rest while refusing to unclench. I say this gently, but I need you to hear it with clarity. You cannot experience the fullness of my comfort while still gripping the illusion that you are your own savior. Put it down. Lay it down now. Release the wheel. Open your hands. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe slower. Invite me in before the next decision, before the next reply, before the next worry takes root. This is not mystical complexity. It is intimate simplicity. Wake up and say, Lord, walk with me today. Pause in the middle of pressure and say, Jesus, speak before my fear does. When a text unsettles you, do not rehearse 10 reactions first. Come to me. When a memory stings, do not immediately numb it. Bring it to me. When a temptation whispers, do not negotiate with it in private. Call my name. When anxiety begins painting dark pictures, interrupt it. Stop. Look at me. Ask me what is true. That is how you retrain a soul. That is how dependence becomes delight instead of dread. That is how you stop making my presence the place you collapse into only after the damage and start making it the place you live from all day long. Think of it this way, my child. If your phone were about to die, you would not wait until the screen goes black before you reach for the charger if you had any wisdom. Yet you often let your spirit drain to 1 trembling% before you finally come close enough to receive what was available all along. No wonder you feel so brittle sometimes. No wonder your reactions become sharper, your patience shorter, your thoughts darker, your hope thinner. You were never designed to run disconnected. So plug in early. Return often. Abide not occasionally but intentionally. Let prayer become less like an alarm bell and more like breathing. Let my word become less like medicine you reach for only in crisis and more like bread you'd eat before hunger becomes desperation. Let worship become less like rescue music after a breakdown and more like the sound that steadies your inner world before pressure gets loud. I am not calling you into religious performance. I am calling you into relational rhythm. Walk with me. Check in with me. Ask me things. Sit quietly with me. Let me interrupt your thoughts. Let me redirect your assumptions. Let me soften your reactions before they harden. Let me remind you that you are held before the day even unfolds. This is how peace grows roots. This is how trust stops being theory and becomes a way of living. So hear my invitation again, and this time answer it with action. Come to me first tomorrow morning. Come to me first in the next hard moment. Come to me first when the next fear rises. Come to me first when the next decision presses on you. Train your heart to turn before it trembles too long. I am here now, not later. I am available now, not after your breakdown. I am ready now, not after you have exhausted yourself trying to be enough without me. Stop treating my love like a last resort. Step into it as your first refuge, your daily covering, your steady place. Come now. Stay near. Learn the relief of not carrying yourself alone. My beloved child, I need you to stay with me here, because what I am about to speak touches a room inside you that you rarely let anyone enter. You have chambers in your heart that people see. You have the room where you smile. You have the room where you work. You have the room where you help, perform, respond, endure, and stay composed. You have the room where you know how to sound fine. The room where you can carry conversation. The room where you can appear strong. The room where you know how to keep moving so no one asks too many questions. But there is another room. You know the one I mean. The room you keep locked. The room with the memories you avoid. The room with the grief that still catches in your throat. The room with the betrayal you say you are over but still feel when certain names, songs, places, or dates surface unexpectedly. The room with the shame you have tried to bury under busyness. The room with the fear that if anyone saw how raw it still is, they would misunderstand you, minimize you, or quietly step back. The room with the disappointment you carry toward yourself. The room with the anger you did not know where to put. The room with the prayers that felt unanswered. The room with the loneliness you learned to decorate so it looked less empty. I know that room intimately. I know what is on the floor. I know what is hidden in the corners. I know the dust that has settled there because you stopped going in unless something forced you to. I know the air in that place feels heavy, like a closed house that has not been opened in too long. And I need you to hear me carefully. I am not asking you to open that room because I want to expose you. I am asking because I want to heal you. There is a difference. I am not a stranger rattling the handle of your locked door. I am the one who built the house, and I am the one who can restore what pain has damaged inside it. But I will not force my way in. I will not. I will speak. I will draw near. I will wait with patient love. Yet there comes a moment, my child, when staying locked becomes more painful than opening up. Some of the heaviness you feel is not because you are weak. It is because you have been carrying sealed places for too long. Unhealed pain does not stay quiet just because you ignore it. It leaks. It shapes how you react. It shapes how you trust. It shapes how you attach, withdraw, protect, overthink, and brace yourself. It affects the way you hear love, the way you respond to correction, the way you handle disappointment, the way you interpret silence, the way you expect people to leave, and even the way you approach me. That locked room is not separate from the rest of your life. It is quietly influencing it. That is why I am asking you now, with all the gentleness and authority of a father who loves you deeply, give me the key. Stop standing guard over the place that is hurting you. Stop treating secrecy like safety. Stop confusing numbness with healing. Stop telling yourself that because you survived it, it no longer matters. Survival is not the same as restoration. Getting through is not the same as being free. I want more for you than functional pain. I want more for you than a polished wound. I want wholeness. I want breath where the air has been stale. I want light where the curtains have stayed drawn. I want truth where shame has been whispering in the dark. To open the door. Even if your hands shake, open it. Even if you are afraid of what will surface, open it. Even if you do not know what healing will feel like, open it. Invite me in. Say it plainly. Jesus, come into the place I have been afraid to face. That prayer moves heaven. That invitation breaks chains. A moment of honesty can do more in your soul than months of pretending. I know you fear the flood. You fear that if you open the room, the grief will be too much, the anger too ugly, the sadness too deep, the memories too sharp. But I am not asking you to open it alone. I am standing right here. Open it with me beside you. Let me hold what rises. Let me sit with what hurts. Let me touch what hath been tender for too long. Let me name what happened without letting it define you. Let me show you that I can enter even the places you have avoided and not be repelled by them. I am not fragile. Your pain does not scare me. Your hidden places do not disgust me. Your history does not make me step back. If anything, it is why I am here, knocking again. Do not make a home out of the room that needs to become a testimony. Open it. Let me in. And I want you to understand what happens when you finally do, because sometimes fear grows strongest around what you cannot yet imagine clearly. So let me paint it for you. When you open that locked room to me, I do not come in with a harsh light that humiliates you. I come in like dawn entering a long dark house, gentle enough to reveal, strong enough to change the atmosphere. I do not storm in and start throwing your pain around. I kneel. I look closely. I touch carefully. I sit in the silence with you until your breathing steadies. I help you name what has been unnamed. I help you what you rushed past. I help you release what was never yours to keep carrying. I show you which thoughts were born from wounds rather than truth. I show you where shame has been acting like a squatter in a room that belongs to grace. I show you where fear has nailed boards over windows that I want to reopen. I show you where bitterness has been sitting like old smoke in the curtains, and then I begin to clear the air. This is what my healing often feels like, less like a lightning strike, more like a patient restoration. A master restorer does not shame a damaged painting. He studies it, cleans it, lifts away the grime, repairs the cracks, and reveals the beauty that was always underneath. That is what I do with you. That is what I want to do now. So do not run from tears if they come. Let them come. They are not proof that you are falling apart. Sometimes they are the sound of a locked room finally breathing again. Do not panic if memories surface. Let them surface in my presence, not in isolation. Do not be afraid if you suddenly realize how much something still hurts. Awareness is not regression. is revelation. And revelation, when placed in my hands, becomes the doorway to healing. This is why I want you to take a practical step right now, even as you hear these words. Put your hand over your chest if you can. Close your eyes for a moment if it helps. Ask me, Lord, what room have I kept closed? Wait. Let the image come. Let the memory come. Let the person come to mind. Let the season come back into view. And do not shove it away. Say there with me. Tell me what happened. Tell me what it cost you. Tell me what you learned from it that might not be true. Tell me what promise you made in pain that is still shaping you now. Maybe the promise to never trust again, never need again, never be vulnerable again, never hope again, never let anyone close enough to hurt you again. Those vows feel protective, but they are often prison bars dressed like wisdom. Bring them to me. Renounce them. Release them. Say, Jesus, I do not want this room to rule me anymore. And let me begin. I may not renovate it all in one instant, but I will absolutely start. I will open windows. I will bring in air. I will remove the mold of old lies. I will strengthen weak beams. I will restore what was damaged. I will teach you how to live in your own heart again without fear. And as I do, you will notice something surprising. The rest of your life begins to change too. Your reactions soften. Your sleep deepens. Your trust becomes cleaner. Your boundaries become healthier. Your joy becomes less fragile. Your love becomes less defensive. Your prayer becomes more honest. Your worship becomes less performative and more intimate. That is what happens when the hidden room is no longer hidden from me. So hear my command wrapped in compassion. Stop locking me out of the place that needs me most. Open the door now. Let me into the room you keep locked. Give me access, and watch what my love can do in places pain convinced you would stay broken forever. My beloved child, come closer and stay with me here, because this is one of those truths that can change your whole inner life if you let it. You keep asking for peace while feeding your fear. I say that with tenderness, not condemnation, because I know how subtle this has become in your life. I know you truly want peace. I know you are not pretending when you ask me to calm your heart, steady your mind, and lift the weight from your chest. I know the prayers you have prayed. I know the moments you have whispered, Lord, please give me peace, while your thoughts were racing faster than your body could keep up. But I also see what happens next. I see how quickly you return to the very habits that keep your soul stirred up. You ask me for rest, then rehearse the worst possible outcome until it feels real. You ask me for calm, then scroll through noise that leaves your spirit agitated. You ask me for confidence, then let old memories and imagined futures sit at the head of the table in your mind. You ask me for relief, then keep revisiting the conversation, the mistake, the delay, the uncertainty, the unanswered message, the bill, the diagnosis, the tension, the possibility, as if anxiety itself might somehow protect you if you think hard enough. My child, fear hath been eating at your peace like rust on iron. Quietly, gradually, persistently. It has not always arrived as obvious panic. Sometimes it comes dressed as preparation. Sometimes it calls itself realism. Sometimes it presents itself as responsibility. Sometimes it hides inside overthinking, overchecking, overanalyzing, and over-rehearsing pain before it even happens. But if it steals your trust, narrows your breathing, hardens your shoulders, keeps your spirit in constant alert, and trains your mind to expect disaster before grace, then it is not wisdom. It is fear, and I want to free you from it. I want you to notice something with me. Fear is not only what you feel, Fear is often what you repeatedly agree with. It is the voice you let narrate your future. It is the image you keep replaying. It is the inner script you rehearse until your body starts responding as if danger is already here. You have done this more times than you realize. You have sat in rooms where nothing was happening outwardly, yet inside you were already running through collapse, rejection, failure, loss, embarrassment, disappointment, and grief before any of it had even occurred. That is exhaustive. That is why you feel worn down even on days that look normal from the outside. You have been living as if every uncertain moment must be interrogated until it either becomes controllable or catastrophic. But listen to me carefully now. Peace does not grow in the soil of constant mental agreement with fear. Peace grows where trust is watered. Peace grows where truth is repeated more than panic. Peace grows where your mind learns to come under my voice instead of every dark possibility. I am not asking you to become careless. I am not asking you to ignore reality. I am asking you to stop feeding the wolves that keep tearing at your inner world. If you keep giving fear your attention, your imagination, your time, your agreement, your focus, your emotional energy, and your inner rehearsal, do not be surprised when peace feels weak. Peace is not a decoration I hang on a life that is still devoted to fear. Peace is the fruit of stay with me long enough that fear loses its authority. So I am asking you now, and I am also commanding you in love, stop serving fear at your table. Stop handing it your thoughts like food. Stop treating every uncertainty like a courtroom where the worst-case scenario gets to make the closing argument. Interrupt it. Challenge it. Bring it to me sooner. When the fear rises, do not entertain it as if it deserves a full conversation. Do not let it build a house in your imagination. Catch it while it is still a spark. Bring it into my light before it becomes a fire. Say, Jesus, his thought is not my master. Say, Lord, I will not let fear preach to me longer than you do. And come sit with me. Breathe slowly. Return to what is true. Let me remind you who I am before your anxiety tells you who you might become if everything goes wrong. I am still your Father. I am still your shelter. I am still your provider. I am still your healer. I am still your keeper. I am still present in the unknown. I am not waiting on the other side of your fear. I am with you in it, and I am stronger than it. So stop feeding what is starving your soul. Turn your face toward me and let peace become more than a request. Let it become a discipline of trust. And because I love you too much to leave this at the level of inspiration, I want to show you how this changes in real life, because you need more than comfort. You need a new pattern. The next time fear rises, and it will, I do not want you to treat it like an uninvited guest you are too polite to confront. I want you to recognize it quickly and respond with spiritual clarity. Fear often enters like smoke under a door. And first it is subtle. A thought. A what if. A memory. A shift in tone. A message not answered. A sensation in your body. A change in someone's mood. A financial pressure. A possibility you cannot control. And then if you are not careful, your mind becomes a movie theater where fear starts projecting scenes of disaster onto the screen of your imagination. Stop the film. Turn off the projector. Refuse the script. You not sit there and watch the whole thing. Stand up in your spirit and come to me immediately. Say, Lord, this is where I usually spiral. I am choosing you instead. That is not denial. That is discipleship. That is how you retrain a nervous heart. If you want peace, you must stop partnering with what poisons it. Watch what you replay. Watch what you consume. Watch which conversations you keep reopening internally. Watch which people's opinions sit too heavily in your soul. Watch how quickly you assume silence means rejection, delay means disaster, or uncertainty means doom. Those are old patterns, not prophetic insight. You not ground them. Bring them down. Replace them. Speak my truth into the exact place fear is trying to occupy. If fear says you will be abandoned, answer it with, "The Lord is with me." If fear says you will not have enough, answer it with, "My Father is my provider." If fear says you will fall apart, answer it with, "His strength holds me." If fear says this will destroy you, answer it with, "He has brought me through fire before." You do not need a dramatic speech. You need a decisive interruption. Then do something practical. Put the phone down. Step away from the noise. Stop rereading the message that keeps reopening the wound. Get out of the mental porkroom. Sit still. Put your hand on your chest. Breathe. Invite me in. Ask me what is true right now, not what your fear predicts about tomorrow. Let the room settle. Let your body remember that it is safe in my presence. Peace often enters like light through curtains slowly opening. It may not crash in all at once, but it changes the atmosphere. Stay there long enough to feel the shift. Let me speak over your mind. Let me quiet the machinery of panic. Let me show you that not every unanswered question is a threat. Some are simply invitations to trust. And I want you to remember this too. Fear is loud because it is insecure. It has to shout because it has no real authority unless you keep agreeing with it. My peace is different. It does not always shout. It settles. It angers. It steadies. It is like a deep river under a stormy sky, calm beneath the surface, strong enough to carry you, not frantic because it knows where it is going. That is what I want for you. Not the absence of uncertainty, but the presence of unshakable trust. So practice this with me. Start today. Start in the next small moment, not just the next crisis. Catch the first anxious thought. Bring it to me. Refuse the spiral. Invite my truth. Demand your mind to come back under grace. This is how peace becomes stronger in you. Not by wishing for it while fear keeps eating at the edges, but by starving fear and feeding trust. I am with you right now. I am not asking you to master this alone. I am asking you to stop making room for what wounds you and start making room for what heals you. Come. Sit with me. Let me quiet the storm before it becomes a flood. Let me teach you how to live in peace, not just pray for it. My beloved child, I want you to listen with your heart wide open now, because there is a misunderstanding that has kept too much distance between us, and I want to break it tonight. You do not need to be fixed before you come to me. You do not need to clean yourself up emotionally before you sit with me. You do not need to become spiritually impressive before you talk to me. You do not need to solve the habit, conquer the weakness, untangle the confusion, calm the anxiety, repair the wound, or finally become consistent enough to earn closeness with me. Yet if you are honest, that is often how you live. You withdraw when you struggle. You get quieter when you are ashamed. You hesitate when you feel spiritually dull. You tell yourself you need a better day first, a stronger prayer first, a cleaner heart first, a more focused mind first, a more obedient week first. You postpone intimacy until you feel more worthy of it, as if my presence were a reward for progress rather than the place where progress begins. That lie has cost you more than you realize. It has made you hide when you most needed healing. It has made you perform when you most needed honesty. It has made you wait outside the hospital trying to stop bleeding before you ask the physician for help. Think about how exhausting that is. Imagine someone standing outside in the rain, soaked, shivering, wounded, staring at the warm light of a house with the door open, but refusing to step inside because they feel too dirty to enter. That is how you have treated my presence at times. You have stood at the edge of mercy while carrying the very pain mercy was sent to hold. You have delayed coming close because you felt too messy, too tired, too compromised, too inconsistent, too embarrassed, too numb, too angry, too disappointed in yourself. But my child, my love was never designed for your polished moments only. My love is strongest exactly where you feel least presentable. I did not say, "Come to me, all who have already sorted themselves out." I said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened." That means the version of you that feels raw, scattered, distracted, ashamed, conflicted, emotionally flooded, or spiritually dry is not the version I reject. It is often the version I am most urgently calling near. I do not wait for your storm to end before I step into the boat. I do not ask the leper to become clean before I touch him. I do not tell the prodigal to wash up before I run toward him. I do not demand that blind Bartimaeus fix his own sight before I ask what he needs. This is who I am. I move toward the wounded. I draw near to the burdened. I kneel beside the broken. I do not recoil from your mess. I redeem it. I do not require perfection before access. I opened access because perfection was never going to be your doorway. I became the doorway. So stop standing at a distance, trying to earn what was already purchased. Stop delaying the conversation because you are embarrassed by what you need. Stop assuming your weakness makes me less willing to receive you. It does not. If anything, it is the exact reason I am calling you now. Come tired. Come distracted. Come ashamed. Come confused. Come frustrated. Come with your prayer half-formed and your heart still trembling. Come with the addiction still whispering, the grief still aching, the fear still buzzing, the questions still unresolved. Come with the tears you cannot explain and the silence you do not know how to fill. Just come. Bring the unfinished version of yourself into my presence and let me meet you there. You are not a project I love after completion. You are my child, and I love you in process. I love you in the middle. I love you in the mess. I love you in the relapse, in the regret, in the rebuilding, in the confusion, in the waiting, in the slow healing, in the awkward prayers, in the weak faith that still reaches anyway. That is why I want you to stop using your brokenness as a reason to stay away from the one who can actually heal it. Broken things belong in the hands of the Maker. Wounded hearts belong with the healer. Heavy souls belong in the presence of the one who can carry what they cannot. So do not fix yourself first. Come first. That is the order. Come, then heal. Come, then learn. Come, then be restored. Come, then be changed. My presence is not the finish line. It is the place where your true beginning often starts. And I want to take this even further, because some part of you may hear these words and still quietly resist. You may think, yes, I know that in theory, but you do not understand how many times I have come with the same issue. I do understand. I know how frustrating it is to feel like you are circling the same mountain. I know the humiliation of bringing me the same struggle again. I know the fatigue of promising change and then facing your own inconsistency. I know how quickly shame uses repetition to tell you that your sincerity must not be real. But hear me, returning is not failure. Returning is faith. The enemy wants you to believe that because the battle is familiar, you should stay away until you have something impressive to show me. I want you to reject that lie completely. If the battle is familiar, then come familiar. If the weakness showed up again, then bring it again. If the wound opened again, then let me touch it again. If the fear returned, then speak my name again. If you fell, then get up and come toward me, not away from me. But movement matters. It matters more than you know. A child learning to walk does not lose a father's affection because he stumbles in the same room more than once. The father moves closer. He steadies. He lifts. He encourages. He teaches balance over time. That is what I do with you. I am not irritated by your need. I am not exhausted by your return. I am not standing there with a clipboard, measuring how many times you asked for mercy. Mercy is not a ration in my house. It is a river. Grace is not a tiny candle I am trying to protect from being overused. It is a blazing fire. So come boldly. Come often. Come honestly. And when you come, stop trying to impress me with polished language if what you really need is raw honesty. Say, Lord, I am here again. Say, Jesus, I need you in the exact place I wish I did not. Say, I am tired of fighting this alone. Say, meet me in the middle of what I have not figured out. Those are real prayers. Those are doors opening. Those are the sounds of surrender. Then stay. Do not rush out because you feel uncomfortable. Stay in my presence long enough for the truth to settle deeper than the shame. Let me love you where you are instead of constantly imagining I will only love the future version of you more. Yes, I will transform you. Yes, I will challenge you. Yes, I will call you higher. But I do all of that from relationship, not from rejection. I correct as a father, not as a stranger. I lead as a shepherd, not as a critic. I convict to restore, not to humiliate. This matters, because if you misunderstand my heart, you will keep approaching me like a courtroom when I am inviting you into a home. And I do not want you living at the edge of the doorway anymore. Come inside. Sit down. Bring the mess to the table. Let me feed what is starving in you. Let me wash what feels stained. Let me speak to the places in you that have been called hopeless. Let me untangle the knot, one thread at a time. Let me teach you how healing often works, not always in one dramatic sweep, but in repeated surrender, repeated nearness, repeated truth, repeated trust. Not the kind of repetition that is emptied performance, but the kind that forms roots. So hear my invitation now, and answer it with action. Stop waiting for a better version of yourself to come to me. Stop delaying prayer until you feel less ashamed. Stop postponing closeness until you have won the battle. Bring the battle into the closeness. Bring the weakness into the light. Bring the ache into the room. Bring yourself. That is what I want. You do not need to be fixed before you come to me. You need to come to me so I can begin fixing what you cannot. Come now. Do not wait another hour. Do not wait until tomorrow. Come as you are, and let my love meet the exact version of you that showed up today. My beloved child, stay with me here, because this is a tender place, and I want to speak to you with love that is honest enough to heal. You keep calling it just a little compromise, but it is stealing your intimacy with me. I am not saying this to crush you. I am saying it because I refuse to watch you slowly lose what is sacred while you keep using soft language for something that is quietly hardening your heart. You know what I mean. I am not only talking about the obvious things you already feel convicted about. I am also talking about the subtle permissions you keep giving yourself. The private indulgence you excuse because you are tired. The bitterness you keep revisiting because the wound felt justified. The flirtation with what weakens you because it gives temporary relief. The patterns of distraction that numb your spirit while making your mind noisier. The content you consume that leaves a residue on your soul. The conversations you entertain that feed cynicism instead of faith. The habits you tell yourself are harmless because they are small enough to hide, manageable enough to rationalize, common enough to normalize, and private enough that no one else sees the cost. But I see the cost. I see how it affects your sensitivity to my voice. I see how it makes prayer feel heavier, worship feel flatter, and obedience feel slower. I see how it introduces static into places where there once was clarity. I see how it steals softness from your heart one quiet layer at a time. This is why I need you to hear me with seriousness and tenderness at once. What you call small is not small when it keeps touching the place where intimacy lives. A tiny leak can sink a great ship if it is ignored long enough. A single ember can become a wildfire if it is fed in secret. A little rust can weaken a strong gate until it no longer holds. This is how compromise works. It rarely announces itself as destruction. It arrives as permission. It says, "It is not that bad." It says, "You deserve this." It says, "Just this once." It says, "Everyone does it." It says, "You are too tired to fight right now." It says, "This helps you cope." It says, "You can always get serious later." But later keeps moving, and your soul keeps paying. You have felt that. You have known the strange heaviness after the moment passes. You have known the dull ache that follows. You have known the distance that creeps in, not because I move it, but because compromise makes you less comfortable with the light. And I do not want you living in that slow drift. I do not want you adapting to spiritual numbness as if it is normal. I do not want you trading holy closeness for temporary relief. Listen to me now. The enemy does not always need to destroy you dramatically if he can simply distract you gradually. He does not always need a public collapse if he can cultivate a private cooing. He does not always need to make you hate me. Sometimes he is satisfied if he can just make you less responsive, less hungry, less tender, less quick to obey, less quick to repent, less quick to return. That is why I am speaking with urgency. This is mercy dressed in truth. I am not scolding you. I am rescuing you from drift. I am not shaming you for the struggle. I am exposing the thief. I am not pushing you away because of your compromise. I am calling you back because I want your intimacy restored. So stop minimizing what keeps weakening you. Stop using gentle labels for things that are not gentle to your soul. Call it what it is. Name it. Bring it into the light. If it steals your peace, weakens your appetite for my presence, makes your heart harder, feeds your flesh, or keeps you circling the same emptiness, then stop negotiating with it. Do not pet the snake and ask why you keep getting bitten. Do not warm the thing that keeps wounding you. Do not decorate the chain and call it jewelry. I am telling you now in love, cut it off. Close the door. Delete it. Leave it. Step away. Confess it. Renounce it. Replace it. Run from what keeps training your heart away from me. This is not legalism. This is love protecting what matters. I died for intimacy with you, and I will not pretend that what erodes it is harmless. Come closer now. Bring me the compromise you have been defending. Bring me the pattern you have been disguising. Bring me the small thing that keeps leaving your soul colder than before. Do not wait until it grows teeth. Bring it now, while my spirit is stirring you. Open your hand. Tell me the truth. Let me free you before the leak becomes a flood. And I want you to understand why I am so direct with you here, because I know there is a part of you that may immediately feel defensive, embarrassed, or even tempted to shut down. Do not do that. Stay open. Let me explain what holy surrender actually looks like in this place. When I call you out of compromise, I am not inviting you into a joyless life. I am inviting you out of counterfeit comfort and back into living water. The very thing you keep returning to because it feels like relief is often the thing deepening your thirst. That is the cruel trick. It promises ease and leaves residue. It offers a moment and then charges your sole interest. It soothes the surface while quietly scratching the deeper wound. This is why you can walk away from it and still feel emptier. You know that feeling. You know what it is like to reach for something that seemed like comfort and then find yourself spiritually foggy afterward. Less present, less peaceful, less free. That is not because you are weak beyond hope. It is because you have been drinking salt water and wondering why your thirst is getting worse. So hear me now, and do not delay in obeying this. If there is something in your life that you know is quietly stealing your tenderness with me, deal with it today. Not next week. Not after one more time. Not when you feel stronger. Today. Take the practical step. Remove access. End the conversation. Change the pattern. Break the loop. Tell the truth to someone safe if you need accountability. Turn off what needs turning off. Walk away from what keeps pulling you back. If it is on your phone, change it. If it is in your routine, interrupt it. If it is in your thought life, confront it with truth. If it is in your environment, move away from it. If it is in your fantasy life, drag it into the light before it grows roots. I am not asking you to win this with gritted teeth and isolated effort. I am asking you to stop agreeing with what wounds you and start aligning with what heals you. Invite me into the exact moment where you usually compromise. That matters. If you always fall when you are lonely, bring your loneliness to me sooner. If you always drift when you are tired, learn to rest with me instead of numbing without me. If you always justify bitterness when you feel misunderstood, bring me the sting before it ferments. If you always reach for distraction when pain rises, stop and say, Lord, I want you more than I want escape. That is a powerful prayer. That is warfare in its purest form. And I want you to remember this too. You are not being asked to give something up because I enjoy restriction. You are being invited to let go of what is shrinking your capacity for real life. A surgeon removes what is harming because healing matters more than temporary comfort. A gardener cuts back what is choking growth because fruit matters more than unchecked spread. A shepherd pulls a lamb away from a cliff not because freedom is bad but because falling is costly. That is what I am doing with you. So do not romanticize the compromise. Do not keep calling captivity coping. Do not keep naming drift normal. Let this be the day you tell the truth. Get quiet with me now and ask, Lord, what have I been excusing that is costing me intimacy? Wait. Let me show you. When the answer comes, do not argue. Obey. Live. Respond. Even if it feels inconvenient. Even if it feels costly. Even if part of you resists. The cost of surrender is never greater than the cost of staying stuck. And once you obey, come closer. Do not stand at a distance in shame. Come close. Let me cleanse what was dull. Let me sharpen what grew blurry. Let me restore what compromise weakened. Let me wash the film off your spiritual vision. Let me awaken desire again. Let me make your heart tender again. Let me show you what it feels like to breathe clean air after being in a stale room too long. That is what intimacy restored feels like. Lighter. There. Warmer. More alive. So come now. Choose holiness not as punishment, but as protection. Choose obedience not as performance, but as reunion. Choose me over the false comfort that keeps leaving you empty. I am here. I am near. And I am asking you with loving urgency, stop defending what is draining your soul. Let it go and come back into the closeness you were made for. My beloved, as you lay down what has been stealing your intimacy with me, I am also inviting you to step into what restores it, obedience that moves. Every act of surrender opens a door, and every act of giving fuels my work beyond what your eyes can see. Do you not know? The fire on the altar never goes out, and I use willing hearts to keep it burning across the earth. When you give, you are choosing light over drift, purpose over passivity, and truth over compromise. I see the moment you decide, and I bless it with increase, with protection, with a covering that follows obedience. This is your moment to align not just in what you leave behind, but in what you release forward. Support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal in the description, and let your generosity become a weapon against darkness. Act now. Cut off what drains you, and sow into what carries my presence. My beloved child, listen carefully now, because this may be one of the most important shifts I will ask of you in this entire message. I am not asking for more time than you have. I am asking for the first minute. I know how quickly your mind moves to resistance when you think about time. I know the immediate feeling that rises in you. The list, the pressure, the obligations, the unfinished tasks, the people waiting on you, the messages, the responsibilities, the deadlines, the tiredness, the constant movement of your day. You here spend time with me, and sometimes your heart agrees while your mind quietly whispers, I do not have enough. But I want you to see something that may change the way you walk with me from this moment forward. I am not beginning with an hour. I am not demanding a dramatic restructuring of your whole life in one day. I am asking for the first minute because the first minute reveals the first affection. The first minute tells the truth about what your soul reaches for when the day opens its eyes. The first minute is like the first fruit from a tree, the first flame in a dark room, the first draught of rain before the storm breaks, the first turn of a key in a locked door. It matters because it sets direction. And too often, my child, the first minute of your day belongs to everything except the one who gave you the day. Before your feet even settle, your mind is already racing ahead. Before your spirit even breathes, your attention is already being pulled outward. You wake up and immediately reach for the noise, the screen, the schedule, the pressure, the problem, the unfinished thought from yesterday, the next demand, the next worry, the next alert, the next thing that tells you what the world wants from you before you have remembered what I want for you. Then you wonder why your peace feels delayed. You wonder why anxiety finds you so early. You wonder why your heart feels behind before the day has even truly begun. My child, the first voice matters. The first gaze matters. The first touch matters. If the first hand you reach for is the world's, do not be surprised when the world sets the tone. But if you give me the first minute, something holy begins to happen. That first minute is not small to me. It is a doorway. It is a declaration. It is you saying, before the demands, there is devotion. Before the pressure, there is presence. Before the world speaks, I want my Father's voice. That changes more than you realize. 1 minute with me at the start can save you from an hour of internal chaos later. 1 minute with me can steady what would otherwise start shaky. 1 minute can soften what would otherwise stay tense. 1 minute can interrupt fear before it gets a head start. 1 minute can remind your soul that you are not beginning the day alone, not beginning the day as a machine, not beginning the day as a servant of urgency, but as my child. So do not dismiss the power of a minute because it feels small. Seeds are small. Sparks are small. Keys are small. Yet a seed can split the saw, and a spark can light a fire, and a key can open an entire house. That first minute is like that. It is not about duration alone. It is about direction. It is about priority. It is about the order of your inner life. I want you to stop telling yourself that because you do not yet have the perfect routine, the long quiet time, the uninterrupted schedule, or the ideal atmosphere, you have nothing to give. That is not true. You have a minute. You have a first breath. You have a first thought. You had a first reaching. Give me that. Before you touch the screen, touch heaven. Before you read the message, whisper my name. Before you step into the hallway of demands, step into my presence. Before your mind opens 10 tabs of worry, open your heart. That is what I am asking. Not perfection, not performance, not a polished ritual. A first minute, a real minute. A minute where you say, "Good morning, Lord. I need you." A minute where you breathe and remember that you are held. A minute where you ask, "Walk with me today." A minute where you surrender the tone of the day before the day steals it. I am inviting you, and I am also urging you, start here. Do not underestimate what I can do with your first minute if you truly give it to me. And I want to show you why this matters so much beyond simple discipline, because this is not about building a religious habit for the sake of checking a box. This is about retraining the center of your life. Your first minute is like the steering wheel at the beginning of a road. A slight turn early can change the entire direction miles later. A ship off course by 1 degree can end up in a different ocean if the drift continues long enough. That is how days work too. The beginning matters. If the first thing that enters your spirit is urgency, comparison, pressure, bad news, unfinished stress, or mental clutter, then your inner world begins tilted. You spend the next hours trying to recover what you could have rooted at the start. But if the first thing you do is acknowledge me, breathe with me, surrender to me, and let my presence speak before the world does, then even if the day becomes difficult, you are already anchored. That anchor matters. It matters when the message comes. It matters when the mood shifts. It matters when the fear tries to start its usual speech. It matters when the pressure rises. It matters when someone disappoints you. It matters when temptation whispers. It matters when fatigue comes. That 1 minute becomes a reference point your soul can return to. It becomes a spiritual home base. So I want you to make this concrete. Do not just agree emotionally and move on. Decide now. Before tomorrow arrives, decide what your first minute will be. Put the phone farther away if you must. Place a note where your eyes will land. Set a simple reminder. Whisper my name before you stand. Sit on the edge of the bed and breathe. Place your hand over your heart and say, "Father, this day is yours before it is mine." Then pause. Stay still for a few seconds longer than feels natural. Let the quiet touch you. Let your nervous system realize it does not have to sprint the moment you wake. Ask me one honest thing. What do you want me to remember today? Then listen. It may be simple. It may be a phrase. It may be peace. It may be conviction. It may be comfort. It may be silence filled with presence. But do it. Guard that minute. Protect it like the first sip of water in a desert, like the first light in a dark room, like the first key to a locked gate. Because over time, that first minute will teach your soul something beautiful. You do not belong to urgency first. You belong to me first. That one truth can heal more in you than you realize. It can loosen anxiety's grip. It can reduce the frantic feeling that your value is tied to immediate output. It can make you slower to react, quicker to discern, softer in tone, steadier under pressure. It can remind you that before you are needed by anyone, you are known by me. Before you serve anyone, you are loved by me. Before you carry anything, you are carried by me. That is why I want your first minute. Not because I am trying to take from you, but because I am trying to restore order to a heart that has been waking up into battle without first stepping into shelter. So hear my invitation and my command together. Give me tomorrow's first minute. Do not negotiate with it. Do not postpone it. Do not overcomplicate it. Just give it. Then do it again the next day. And the next. Let that minute become a doorway that slowly widens. Some days it may become 5. Some days it may become 10. Some days it may remain a single precious minute because life is heavy. I will still honor it. I will still meet you there. Let's start. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Start with the first minute. I died for you, my child. I am not asking for what you do not have. I am asking for the first opening in your day, the first turn of your heart, the first little yes. Give me that, and watch what my presence begins to reshape from the inside out. My beloved child, come closer again and listen with your heart, because this truth has the power to break a pattern that has been hurting you quietly for a long time. Stop mistaking delay for rejection. I know how easily your mind does this. I know how quickly you move from waiting to wondering, from wondering to worrying, and from worrying to building painful conclusions about my heart. You ask it. You hope it. You pray. You surrender something to me, at least as best as you know how, and when the answer does not come in the shape or timing you expected, something inside you begins to tighten. At first it is only a question. Then it becomes a story. Then that story begins to shape the way you approach me. You start to feel cautious. You start to feel less bold. You begin to hold back in prayer. You begin to lower your expectations so disappointment will not sting as sharply next time. You tell yourself you are being realistic, but what is really happening is that your heart is quietly protecting itself from hope. And I need you to hear me clearly today. Waiting is not the same as being unwanted. Silence is not proof of absence. Delay is not rejection wearing a slower clock. You must stop reading my heart through the lens of your impatience, your fear, or your past wounds. Too many times, you have taken the space between prayer and answer and filled it with assumptions that do not sound like me. You assume that if I love you enough, it would have happened by now. You assume that if I was really near, the door would already be open. You assume that if your faith was strong enough, the change would already be visible. You assume that if I was pleased with you, the waiting would be shorter, the pain would be lighter, the path would be clearer. But my child, those assumptions are not wisdom. They are the echo of pain trying to interpret heaven. And pain is a poor translator when it is left alone. That is why I am speaking now. I want to reintroduce you to the truth. Some of the holiest things in your life have been growing in places you call delay. Some of the deepest protection I have given you has looked, from your angle, like a closed door. Some of the greatest kindness I have shown you has felt, in the moment, like an unanswered prayer. I know that it is hard for you to hold when your heart is tired. I know it can sound almost too neat when you are still carrying the ache of not knowing when things will shift. But I am not speaking from a distance. I am speaking as the one who sees the whole road while you are standing on a single stone. You see the immediate absence. I see the full consequence of timing. You see the empty space where the answer has not yet appeared. I see the collisions I am preventing, the people I am repositioning, the motives I am refining, the strength I am forming, the roots I am deepening, the hidden weaknesses I am healing, the doors I am keeping shut because they lead to rooms you are not meant to live in. If I handed you every desire the moment it appeared in your heart, some blessings would become burdens, some doors would become traps, and some answers would become idols. That is not cruelty. That is careful love. A loving father does not hand a child the car keys because the child feels ready. A skilled gardener does not rip open the soil to force the flower to bloom faster. A master builder does not hang the roof before the foundation is secure. Timing matters. Order matters. Preparation matters. And because I love you, I refuse to answer in ways that satisfy your urgency while wounding your future. So stop standing in the hallway of delay and calling it abandonment. Stop letting the weight write lies about my character. Stop assuming that because you do not yet see movement, I must not be moving. I am moving. I am always moving. Sometimes I move like thunder. Sometimes I move like roots. Thunder is dramatic, but roots hold the tree. You have often wanted thunder, but I have been giving you roots. And roots are holy. Roots are hidden. Yes, but they are not inactive. They are the quiet architecture of future fruit. That is what some of your waiting has been. Hidden architecture. Sacred reinforcement. Keep strengthening beneath the surface. So I am asking you now, and I am also commanding you in love. Stop calling yourself rejected when you are actually being prepared. Stop letting disappointment speak louder than my promises. Stop measuring my love by speed. Come closer in the waiting, not farther. Lean in while you wait. Pray while you wait. Trust while you wait. Worship while you wait. Let the delay become a place of deeper intimacy instead of a courtroom where you keep accusing me in silence. I have not rejected you. I am refining you, protecting you, aligning things you cannot yet see, and preparing answers that will not destroy what I am building in you. Stay with me. Do not walk away from the field just because the seed is still underground. And I want to take you deeper into this, because the hardest part of waiting is not always the event itself. Often, it is what waiting awakens inside you. It exposes your fears. It reveals your expectations. It uncovers the places where you still equate speed with love and visible progress with divine favor. That is why waiting can feel so intense. It is not just about what you want. It is about what the wanting reveals. When the answer takes longer than you hoped, old wounds start talking. If you have known rejection from people, delay can feel like that familiar sting. If you have been overlooked before, waiting can feel like being passed over again. If you have been disappointed by life, delay can start sounding like the old sentence, maybe it is not for you. But listen to me carefully. I am not your past. I am not the people who forgot you. I am not the person who left. I am not the door that slammed. I am not the promise someone broke. Do not project human abandonment onto divine timing. My silence is never careless. My pauses are never random. My delays are never indifference. If I am making you wait, there is love in the wait, even if you cannot yet trace it. So I want you to do something brave right now. Take the prayer that has felt delayed the longest, the one that still stings when you think about it, the one you are almost afraid to bring up because disappointment has made it tender, and bring it back into my presence. Do not bring it with accusation. Bring it with honesty. Say, Lord, this still hurts, and I need you to teach me how to wait without hardening. That is a powerful prayer. That prayer opens space for grace. Then ask me a better question than, why is this not happening yet? Ask, what are you doing in me while I wait? That question changes everything. It shifts you from passive frustration into active partnership. It turns the waiting room into a workshop. It turns the hallway into a sanctuary. It turns the silence into a place where your hearing sharpens. In waiting, I may be teaching you how to trust without visible proof. I may be removing your dependence on outcomes so your identity roots more deeply in me. I may be healing the part of you that wants the blessing more than the blesser. I may be building the emotional maturity required to carry what you are asking for. I may be closing lesser doors so you do not settle early. I may be preserving your heart from a counterfeit that would have looked close enough to your prayer to fool you. I may be teaching you to discern between urgency and obedience. I may be forming endurance so your future does not collapse under its own weight. This is not wasted time. It only feels wasted if all you value is arrival. But if you learn to value transformation, the waiting becomes holy ground. So I am inviting you now to stop standing outside the mystery with crossed arms and come sit with me inside it. Let me hold your questions without you needing immediate answers. Let me comfort your ache without you demanding instant closure. Let me strengthen your spirit in the middle, not just celebrate with you at the end. And hear this clearly. I am not asking you to pretend the waiting does not hurt. I know it hurts. Some of your waiting has felt like winter, bare trees, cold wind, silent fields, and no visible bloom. But winter is not death when roots are alive. It is hidden work. It is conservation. It is preparation. It is the season where the surface looks still while life gathers strength underneath. That is what some of your life is right now. So do not curse the winter. Rest for it. Stay near my fire. Keep talking to me. Keep your heart soft. Keep your hands open. Refuse to let delay become bitterness. Refuse to let unanswered questions become unbelief. Refuse to let time teach you the wrong theology. I am still good. I am still near. I am still working. And when the answer comes, and some answers will come in ways that surprise you, you will look back and realize that what felt like rejection was actually protection, formation, and mercy, all woven together by hands far wiser than your own. Until then, stay with me. Wait with me. Trust me in the dark soil. Trust me in the winter field. Trust me in the hallway between prayer and fulfillment. Stop mistaking delay for rejection. I have not closed my heart to you. If anything, I am drawing you deeper into it while I prepare what is coming. My beloved child, I need you to listen with unusual honesty right now, because this next truth reaches into a place you may have stopped noticing simply because you have lived there too long. I did not die so you could live numb. I know numbness has become familiar to you in ways you may not even fully recognize anymore. It is not always dramatic. It does not always look like collapse. Sometimes it looks like functioning without feeling. Sometimes it looks like getting through the day while your heart feels far away from your own life. Sometimes it looks like smiling in conversations while something inside you stays undone. Sometimes it looks like being present physically while emotionally you are behind a glass wall, watching yourself move through routines you can perform but not fully inhabit. Sometimes it looks like a low-grade fog that has been there so long you forgot what inner clarity feels like. Sometimes it looks like constant distraction because stillness would make you feel what you have been avoiding. Sometimes it looks like overwork, overscrolling, overthinking, overeating, overdocking, or overfilling your life with anything that keeps you from sitting too long with the ache beneath the surface. Numbness is not always obvious pain. Often it is pain that learned how to go quiet. It is a wound that stopped bleeding outward and started hardening inward. It is your soul going into survival mode because feeling everything all at once seemed too dangerous, too overwhelming, too exhausting. I understand why you did it. I know the losses that taught you to pull back. I know the disappointments that made full-hearted hope feel risky. I know the betrayals that made you build internal insulation. I know the prayers that took so long that desire itself started to feel vulnerable. I know the fatigue that made you stop expecting joy because expectation felt expensive. I know the seasons where life asked so much of you that your heart quietly decided to conserve energy by shutting certain doors. I saw all of it. I saw when your laughter became thinner. I saw when your tears became harder to access. I saw when worship became more mental than intimate. I saw when prayer became functional instead of relational. I saw when you started reaching for noise before you had to hear your own heart. I saw when you told yourself, "I'm okay," not because it was true, but because it was easier than explaining the emptiness. And I am speaking now because I love you too much to let you confuse numbness with peace. Numbness is not peace. Peace is alive. Peace breathes. Peace can feel deeply without drowning. Peace has softness in it. Peace can be still without being shut down. Numbness is different. Numbness is a locked house with the lights dimmed, the windows sealed, and the air stale. It may feel safer for a while, but it is not where life flourishes. I did not endure the cross so you could spend your days emotionally surviving while your spirit slowly loses its capacity to feel wonder, conviction, tenderness, joy, grief, gratitude, hunger, and holy desire. I died to bring you abundant life, not muted existence. I died to restore your heart, not simply help you manage it. I died so you could be fully alive in me, not partially present in your own story. So I am asking you now, and I am urging you with fatherly authority, stop settling for numb. Stop calling emotional distance maturity. Stop treating detachment like wisdom. Stop hiding behind busyness so you do not have to notice the silence inside. Come back to life. Come back to feeling. Come back to tenderness. That may sound frightening because feeling again means risk. It means you may have to grieve what you avoided. It means you may have to admit what still hurts. It means you may have to stop numbing long enough for your real condition to surface. But hear me clearly. What rises in my presence does not rise to destroy you. It rises to be healed. So do not run from the ache. Bring it. Do not fear the thaw. Frozen ground can feel solid, but nothing grows there. When spring comes, the thaw is messy. Ice breaks. Soil softens. Water moves. That is not weakness. That is life returning. That is what I want for you. Let the thaw come. Let your heart soften. Let your soul wake up. I am not asking you to become emotionally chaotic. I am inviting you to become spiritually alive again. Open the windows. Turn toward me. Step out of the fog. Ask me to awaken what has gone quiet. Ask me to restore your capacity to feel my presence, to hear conviction, to taste joy, to cry honestly, to hope again, to worship with warmth, to love without living behind armor. I did not die so you could live numb. I died so you could live awake. And I want to show you what that awakening can look like, because part of your hesitation is that you are afraid of what coming alive will require. You may think it means instant emotional intensity, dramatic breakdowns, or a flood you cannot control. That is not always how I work. Sometimes awakening is gentle. Sometimes it begins with the smallest crack in the eyes. A moment when a song touches you unexpectedly. A moment when a verse suddenly feels personal again. A moment when tears rise and you almost push them back. But this time, you do not. A moment when silence feels less threatening. A moment when you notice that what once left you cold now stirs something again. A moment when your heart whispers, "I miss closeness." Do not dismiss those moments. They are holy. They are the first bird song after a long winter. They are the first ray of light under a door that has been closed too long. They are not random. They are invitations. So when they come, do not rush past them. Stay there. If tears come, let them. If conviction comes, welcome it. If longing rises, do not numb it. If grief surfaces, sit with me in it. If joy flickers, protect it. This is how numbness breaks, not always in one loud moment, but through repeated permission for life to return. And I want you to help me with that process in practical ways. Stop automatically reaching for distraction the second discomfort appears. Leave some quiet in your day. Let your heart speak before your phone does. Sit with me for a few minutes without needing immediate productivity. Ask me direct questions. Lord, what have I stopped feeling? Jesus, where have I gone numb? Father, what part of me needs waking up? And wait. Listen. Let me show you. I may point to a wound you bypassed. I may reveal a loss you'd never properly grieved. I may expose a habit you used to stay detached. I may bring a memory forward, not to trap you in the past, but to free you from its hidden grip. Stay with me when that happens. Do not panic. Do not slam the door shut again. Keep breathing. Keep listening. Keep bringing me the truth. Think of your heart like a garden after a hard frost. The ground is not dead, but it needs warmth, light, water, patience, and care. If you stomp on it because it is not blooming instantly, you only delay the growth. If you keep covering it in cold, it stays dormant. But if you let the sun in, if you let the rain fall, if you stay attentive, life returns. That is what my presence does. It warms what froze. It waters what dried. It softens what hardened. It revives what looked dormant. And as you begin to come alive again, you will notice changes that feel almost sacred in their simplicity. Worship will stop feeling like background noise and start feeling like a meeting place. Scripture will stop feeling like words on a page and start feeling like bread again. Prayer will stop sounding like duty and start sounding like relationship. Your laughter may return with more depth. Your tears may return with more honesty. Your compassion may deepen. Your boundaries may become healthier because numbness no longer has to protect what truth can now guard. Your joy may become quieter but stronger, less flashy and more rooted. This is what I want for you. Not endless intensity but living sensitivity. Not emotional chaos but restored capacity. Not pretending you are fine, but becoming whole enough that you do not need the mask as much anymore. So hear my invitation and my command wrapped together in love. Stop sedating your soul. Stop feeding the fog. Stop making peace with low-grade emptiness. Come back into the warmth of my presence. Sit with me long enough for the ice to melt. Tell me where you stopped feeling. Tell me where you stopped hoping. Tell me where you started protecting yourself by shutting down. Then let me breathe into those places. Let me awaken the dry bones. Let me stir the sleeping parts of your spirit. Let me make the locked house bright again. You do not have to stay numb. You do not have to live muted. You do not have to keep surviving at half-flight. I did not die so you could live that way. I died so you could live awake, live, tender, clear, and deeply held. So come now. Open the windows. Step into the light. Let life return. My beloved child, come close and do not rush through this, because what I am about to say may expose one of the deepest reasons your soul has felt so tired. The voice you keep believing does not sound like me. I know that sentence reaches somewhere tender, because there are inner conversations you have been living under for so long that they now feel familiar, almost reasonable, almost normal. They speak in your mind quickly, sometimes before you even realize they are there. They rise when you make a mistake. They rise when you feel delayed. They rise when you compare yourself to others. They rise when you are tired, when you are tempted, when you are disappointed, when you are triggered, when you are misunderstood, when you are not progressing as fast as you hoped, when you are trying again after failure, when you are sitting in silence and old memories begin to move. The voice says things like, "You should be better than this by now." It says, "You always ruin things." It says, "Nothing ever really changes." It says, "You are too much for people and not enough at the same time." It says, "You have already had too many chances." It says, "Why would God be close to you right now?" It says, "You are behind." It says, "You are failing." It says, "You are probably pretending." It says, "You will never really be free." It says, "You are too inconsistent to be deeply loved." And because the voice is familiar, you have started treating it like an honest narrator, like a harsh but accurate coach, like a painful but necessary realism. But my child, I need you to hear me with absolute clarity. Accusation is not my language. Condemnation is not my tone. Cruel urgency is not my rhythm. Shame-driven pressure is not how I form you. I convict, yes, but conviction is different. Conviction points to the wound and invites healing. Condemnation points to the wound and calls you the wound. Conviction says this is harming you. Come with me. Condemnation says this is who you are. Stay there. Conviction is specific, clean, and redemptive. Condemnation is foggy, crushing, and identity attacking. Conviction leads you toward me. Condemnation makes you want to hide. You have been living under voices that push you away from my presence, then assuming those voices are helping you become holy. They are not. They are draining you. They are turning your inner world into a courtroom when I am inviting you into a home. Think of it this way. If a shepherd speaks, the sheep are drawn toward safety. If a thief speaks, the sheep scatter into fear. Which one has been happening inside you? When that inner voice rises, do you feel drawn to repent and come close, or do you feel driven to shrink, withdraw, numb, and punish yourself? That answer matters. It tells you what spirit is speaking. I am not the one telling you that your weakness is your identity. I am not the one telling you your progress is worthless, because it is slow. I am not the one weaponizing your past every time you try to move forward. I am not the one turning every stumble into a verdict. I am not the one telling you that because the battle repeated, your sincerity must be fake. No, my child, that voice may be familiar, but familiarity does not make it true. A lie repeated often can feel like furniture in the room, but it is still a lie. I want you to begin noticing how much of your emotional exhaustion comes not only from circumstances, but from agreement with words I never spoke. You have been carrying sentences I did not write. You have been letting false narrators preach over your life. And that is why I am speaking now with firm tenderness. Stop agreeing with voices that do not sound like your father. Stop swallowing words that bruise your spirit and calling it discernment. Stop rehearsing accusations and mistaking them for humility. Humility does not mean believing the worst about yourself. Humility means agreeing with what I say, no more and no less. So come here. Bring those sentences into the light. Name them. Write them down if you must. Speak them before me and ask, Lord, did you say this? Then listen. I will show you. I will expose the counterfeit. I will teach your ear the difference. My voice may challenge you, but it will never crush you into paralysis. My voice may correct you, but it will always leave a door open. My voice may call you higher, but it will never strip you of dignity while doing it. My voice carries truth with tenderness, holiness with hope, clarity with compassion. Learn my sound again. Sit with me long enough to recognize the difference. Refuse the stranger's tone. Return to my voice. It is quieter sometimes, yes, but it is cleaner. It does not scream because it does not need to. Truth stands. Let it stand in you now. And because I want this to become practical for you, not just emotional, I need to teach you how to respond the next time that false voice rises. Do not merely notice it. Challenge it. Interrogate it. Do not let it roam freely in your mind like it owns the place. Your mind is not an open field for every dark bird to nest in. It belongs to me. So when that condemning thought appears, do not instantly merge with it. Step back. Separate yourself from it. Say, that is a thought, not a throne. Then ask 3 questions. First, does this voice make me want to hide from God or come near to Him? Second, does this voice address my behavior with hope, or does it attack my identity with shame? Third, does this voice sound like the one who died to restore me, or the one who profits from my despair? Those questions matter. They create space. They break the trance. They stop you from automatically kneeling to the first sentence that enters your head. Then replace the lie quickly. Do not leave the room empty. If the false voice says, "You are failing again," answer it with, "I am in process, and my Father is still with me." If it says, "You will never change," answer it with, "The one who began a good work in me is still working." If it says, "You should hide," answer it with, "I will come boldly to the throne of grace." If it says, "You are too dirty for closeness," answer it with, "His blood already opened the way." If it says you are disqualified, answer it with, "I am corrected as a son, not rejected as a stranger." This is not positive thinking. This is spiritual warfare. This is how you retrain your inner ear. This is how you stop letting old wounds, old shame, old family patterns, old failures, and old spiritual distortions keep narrating a story I already rewrote at the cross. And I want you to do something else that may feel simple, but it is powerful. Slow down enough to listen for my actual tone. My tone matters. You often hear content in your head but miss tone. Yet tone reveals spirit. My tone toward you, even in correction, is never discussed. It is not the icy sigh of someone tired of your need. It is not the impatient scowl of someone counting your failures. It is not the clenched fist of someone looking for reasons to pull away. My tone is the tone of a father who sees clearly and still stays close. The tone of a shepherd who comes after the sheep instead of lecturing it from the hill. The tone of a physician who touches the wound instead of mocking it. The tone of a restorer who knows what is damaged and still sees what can be renewed. So I am asking you now, practice hearing me. Sit in silence for a moment after you pray. Ask, "Lord, what do you want to say to me right now?" Then wait. Do not fill the space immediately with your own harsh script. Let me speak. My word will often come as a clean sentence, a gentle correction, a specific invitation, a holy nudge, a simple truth that calms rather than crushes. Learn to treasure that. Guard it. Repeat it. Let it become louder through repetition of trust, not repetition of torment. And if you have lived under harsh inner voices for years, be patient with the retraining. A room that has echoed with accusation for a long time may not sound different overnight. But keep opening the windows. Keep bringing the lies into the light. Keep testing the tone. Keep returning to my word. Keep rejecting what shames and receiving what restores. I will teach you. I will retrain you. I will make your inner world feel safer again. You do not have to spend the rest of your life being discipled by a voice that sounds nothing like me. So stop lending your agreement to the accuser. Stop calling hardness holiness. Stop mistaking inner cruelty for spiritual maturity. Come under my voice instead. Let me father you. Let me correct you without crushing you. Let me lead you without humiliating you. Let me remind you who you are when the false narrator gets loud. The voice you keep believing does not sound like me. My child, listen again. I am speaking now. Come closer and learn my voice.